called Écusson shields.
Hey, let's wait to get everybody together because I sense otherwise we'll be feeling rushed. We won't have everyone's attention because guides always walk so fast and the group is kind of what? Where? We're kind of a little.
Here we are. This is called Calvin's Tower, and I might as well just summarize what's written here. Here stood until the 19th century the buildings of the college founded in 1394 by Pierre Forte, the Canon of Notre Dame. And perhaps I should say the origins of the university go back to Notre Dame. It was canons from from Notre Dame who, in the 1100s, 1200s, started to lecture outside the Notre Dame. There's a street just down the road called the Hay Bale Street. That's the origins of the university. Canons from Notre Dame would give lectures, students would sit on hay bales, and that's the start of the whole process. And so here we are. This is much later on, 1390s. In the courtyard is a tower which allowed Calvin, who was still a student here in Paris, to escape over the roofs of the houses. You probably read about this. Oh, you haven't. Calvin got involved, of course he was studying here in Paris at the Collège Montaigu, which was just round the corner. He was asked by the rector of the Sorbonne, Nicolas Cop, to help him with a speech he was going to make at the Sorbonne. It proved to be rather incendiary for the time, and Calvin realized that he might well be arrested for heresy if he was still around, so he had to get out quick, and he got out quick from this very place here. It said there's a suspect speech, they call it here, of his friend Nicolas Cop, who was rector of the University of Paris. First of all, he went to Nérac, down in the south of France, with Marguerite of Navarre, the sister of the French king at the time, who was, you probably read too, pro-Protestant.
We've read, they've gotten PDFs, they've not read them.
Okay.
We watched a DVD and they somewhat watched that, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, no.
Anyway, one of the interesting things about the 1530s is that the sister of the king was favourable to the Protestants, had a lot of Protestant friends. And anyway, and it's there that he prepared the Institution de la Religion Chrétienne. Let's make sure we can get in. I think we can do it.
It's going on, guys.
I think this is a very picturesque spot. And one of the key sites, I suppose, that still exist of Calvin's peregrinations around Europe.
We watched a DVD that talks briefly about Calvin's leaving Paris.
Over the roofs.
Yeah, it gives about 30 seconds. 30 seconds on it.
Anyway, this is where he was staying, and the tower is still there. What's this thing? And from that, he was able to get out.
From what year?
And go down to Nérac, as I said, where the sister of the French king, Margaret of Navarre, don't forget there's a link there with the future Henry IV, who was a king of Navarre, and seek refuge with her.
Now, Calvin was dressed as a vine dresser to escape.
He is in disguise, I think. That's right. Yeah. Anyway, it's from there, and that's where he did
And
it.
from there, Calvin eventually wound up in Geneva on the way, actually trying to get to Strasbourg.
Via Strasbourg, yes, and I'll be talking about Calvin's Geneva when we're sitting down together. Right. That would be a good place to. But as you see, a very picturesque little courtyard here. The houses here date mainly from the 18th century, but the old 16th century tower is still there. So we've got some real, Calvin stuff, as it were.
There you go.
Are most of you from a Calvinist tradition or some from a Lutheran tradition?
I'm a Presbyterian.
Okay, yeah. So I'll be talking about Luther and Calvin, of course.
That's a lot to weave into a walking city tour with us. But if you touch on the Huguenots, touch on Calvin.
Oh, yeah.
And amongst, we can talk about that as a place unrelated, just kind of.
Anyway, let's go up to the hill now.